So Robert is asking, is Satan the enemy of everyone?
Hey, Robert, great question. And I suppose to answer it faithfully, I would have to know what you mean by everyone, because on one level you could say is Satan the enemy of even the other demons that he has allied to him. But I think from the perspective of humanity, that's the approach I'm going to give. So is he the enemy of everyone? Like humanity is the enemy of God and all on God's side. And for now, we'll pretend he's not the enemy of his own army. Let's take a look, though, beginning with chapter 13, starting at verse 38. This is Jesus, and he's giving this parable of the tares in the field. And he says the field, and he's explaining it afterwards because his disciples didn't understand the symbols he was giving. So he says, okay, the field is the world, the good seeds are the sons of the kingdom, but the tares are the sons of the wicked one. So if you remember, there was that field, the guy goes out, plants good seed, so up grows good seed. So Jesus saying those are the sons of the kingdom, those are God's people. And then there's tares that got planted by the enemy, and these tares are the sons of the wicked one. And Jesus explains who's the enemy that planted those seeds. He says the enemy who sowed them is the devil. So Jesus outright in this parable is explaining the enemy is the devil. He is the one that has sowed, he's the one that's caused division amongst humanity. It's because of him that we have those who are good and then those who are bad. If it wasn't for him, we would have humanity all on God's side. So he split us, he divided us, and is the result for all the bad that we see in the world. A lot of people want to say, why do we have bad in the world? It had to originate with God. And here Jesus is saying, no, it originated with the enemy, and the enemy is the devil. And is he the friend of us? Absolutely not. Revelation 12:9 speaks of this great dragon who was cast out of heaven, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan. And John adds this, who deceives the whole world. So Satan deceives the whole world, not just part of the world. He deceives all of us. He's actively trying to work against every single one of us. He is the enemy. He was the one that first deceived Eve, and as a result, all of humanity got plunged into sin. And then he, even to this day, continues to deceive each and every one of us, all of us, the whole world. Then we go to John chapter 8, verse 44, and it says, this is Jesus speaking. He says, you are of your father, the devil. He's not speaking to his disciples right now. He's speaking to like the Pharisees and that type. He says, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. Whoa. Right. So Jesus just talking big time smack against Satan, but just Jesus not being mean to be mean. Like he wants us to know, like when we're speaking of Satan, it's a big deal. Like this really is a guy who just has murderous intentions, wanted to kill Jesus probably from the beginning. And he just, all lies originate from him. Like just as God is originator of truth, all lies of falsity have come from Satan. And just can't understate the significance of those lies, the damage that they have wrought, and the harm that they continue to bring each and every day. And I believe ultimately Satan is also the destroyer of our nations, our cities, the world, like all that's around us, the pestilence. We might attribute it a lot to God, but it's really subtle in the Bible where, yes, at times God does the slaying, at times God does the destruction, like we see with Sodom and Gomorrah. But a lot of the time, I think what we see going on day to day is the handwork of Satan. And we read in Isaiah 14, starting at verse 16, and I'm reading from the NIV version, by the way. And I believe this is speaking of Satan. Some people say, no, I think this is somebody else. But I believe this whole part of that chapter is speaking of him. And at the end, this is kind of like what we'll be saying and thinking of Satan at the end of the millennium. And it reads, those who see you stare at you. They ponder your fate. Is this the man who shook the earth and made kingdoms tremble? The man who made the world a wilderness, who overthrew its cities and would not let his captives go home. I mean, that right there just summarizes Satan's MO, how he operates. He's just devastating the world. He would make the world a barren wilderness if God wasn't actively intervening and trying to protect us and hold back the four corners or the four winds, like we hear about in Revelation. It's God that's really the restraining force of evil wickedness around us. And just letting Satan be unleashed, it would just lead to death and destruction everywhere. None of us would escape. So is Satan the enemy of everybody? Absolutely. We can't even wrap our heads around just how much of an enemy this great deceiver, this great destroyer really is. So Tina, anything you would like to add about that?
No, I think that was really, really good. He's, yeah, definitely enemy of everybody. Even if people who think they're in cahoots with him, he really is their enemy too. And he's just one of those sneaky enemies because he's the one that tries to make himself not appear to be one when really all he has is evil intentions, like you're saying.
The most subtle
So,
of all creation, as we're told,
mhm.
right, in Genesis.
Yeah, and that's what makes me sad. Like there's a lot of people who belong to the Church of Satan, and they think, oh, we're on his side, we're his friend, he's going to help us, and he's not your friend. He's trying to kill you. He's
Mm-hmm.
just glad that he can use you as a pawn to hurt others and hurt yourself, and that's just, yeah, it's really sad.
Really is
So,
sad.
yeah, so.